Welcome to the Contrarians. Tonight's topic, great songs never played live, or at least very little. The panel's here. We're going to have a great discussion, keep it moving. We want to hear from you in the chat, so let's hear it. Let's do it. Contrarians, tonight we have a wonderful topic. The topic tonight, great songs that were never played live. But in parentheses, or maybe they were just played just maybe a tad bit and then were pulled from the lineup. So this could be bands or artists, either one. But we have, like I said, we have a wonderful panel. Peter Jones, we've got Rich, we've got the Parish of Steve and Butch. And we've got Bush here.
Bush. Got a machine head.
Butch. But we're all here. We're going to have a discussion. Keep it loose. And we're going to go 2, 2, and 1. And we're going to keep moving. And we'll just go right around with everybody's pick. I'm going to start out with Peter Jones tonight. Peter Jones, nice to see you. How are you?
Nice to see you. Nice to see everybody. Fun topic. It's always good to hunt up stuff that has not played live that you are sad that they didn't. So that's kind of how I approach this. I'm going to start in 1983, the non-makeup era from the Lick It Up. And I am pulling the track Not for the Innocent, which I think is probably my favorite non-makeup Gene song.
Great song.
And I just think it's got so much power. The riff and the tempo are perfect. Gene is just delivering, makeup or not, one of the best vocals he's done in his entire career. And it's just evil and it's heavy and it's fun. And I could have really gotten into this one live. You know, if they just didn't play it too fast, like a lot of their other stuff, they kept it closer to the studio record, it would have been pretty momentous. And I think that's one that they made a mistake not putting into the set list. But we know Kiss has to have, they have to find 1,000 reasons to take one of the classics out. And so it's not going to get in there. No. But if it didn't show up on the Lick It Up tour, my chances were pretty slim to none. But great song nonetheless. Not for the Innocent from Lick It Up. I better get that straight or whatever there. Now we're going to go a decade earlier, 1973, my favorite band. We're going to pull up some Deep Purple here, and we're going to go to Who Do We Think We Are and the momentous track Smooth Dancer. Why this was never played live is just a head scratch to me. This is not unlike Speed King and some of the other tracks from this Mark II era. It's driving, it's unrelenting. The riff is crazy. Gillan is singing his brains out. Pacey is all over the place with his fills. And what's so great about it is that John Lord plays piano for the whole song until his solo. And then all of a sudden, he unleashes the beast and just crushes this perfectly epic John Lord solo. And that's a great song. And I really love that one and would have loved to have heard that one live, even on some bootlegs or something, because they were always great live. And that one would have been a real joy. So those are my first two.
Awesome. Great picks. Okay, let's keep her moving. Rich, what's your first two?
My first two are Deep Purple songs, and they're from the album In Rock. Talking Flight of the Rat, which, first song on side 2. I think it's a great song. It's amazing that they never played that live. I just, it's kind of like a forgotten song, I think. And why they didn't play it live is just kind of a mystery. Yeah. And also from that same side, Hard Lovin' Man. I mean, that's a song that, they really should have played that live, because the studio version sounds like them live. you know, what they would be doing live, and the, you know, crazy organ solo and the, you know, Blackmore's guitar solo. I mean, it's just phenomenal stuff. It's incredible how many songs from in rock they did not do live, and those two songs, I think, yeah, yep.
Yeah, those are good. Can't argue with that. All right, let's keep her going. We'll throw it over to the and see if he's got Deep Purple. Parish, give us your next two Deep Purple tracks.
All right, unfortunately, I haven't got Deep Purple, and the caveat that this is either didn't play live or didn't play live very often is to suit me, because of all the songs I picked, every time I went to check, they'd actually been played live. And the reference point I used was Setlist FM. So I'm not saying that's the be all or end all. And I've got some question marks even over what they had, but nonetheless, that they were the ones I checked against. So the first one I'm going to go with is a song that was released in '79 and was never played live until 2016. It's off Highway to Hell, and it's Touch Too Much, which is actually my favorite AC/DC song.
Is that right?
If you go on Setlist FM, it says it was played once in '79 live, and then not until it was played with Axl Rose in 2016. But the '79 is actually the appearance they had on Top of the Pops, which they actually mimed. So I don't class that as a live one if it was mimed. So effectively, it was only played live with Axl Rose on 3 concerts in 2016. So for me, that's pretty close to not played live.
I'd say.
Certainly not played live with a classic lineup that I would think of as the classic lineup anyway. So that's my first one. Touch Too Much, my favorite AC/DC song.
That's a great pick, Parish. But they play this like on FM. I always bring that up. FM rock radio.
Yeah,
they still play that all the time. And just the fact that they didn't play it live, I can't believe it. Wow.
Apparently it's because Brian Johnson can't sing it. It just doesn't suit his vocals.
Well, that's wild that it was on Top of the Pops and was, so that means it was some kind of hit single they were trying to push.
It got to about number 20 in the UK charts. Wow. And it was with Bon Scott that they did Top of the Pops. But as I say, it wasn't really live because it was mimed. But apparently Brian Johnson couldn't sing it. He struggled with it, so it was dropped from the list.
Great track,
I suppose it was never played on the Highway to Hell tour. And then
the best song on the record too.
One of the best tracks.
In my view, the best AC/DC track. So the next one, again, I didn't think had been played live, but when I checked, it actually has been played live 4 times. 81, twice in 95, and once in 2012. And it's off the Dynasty album, so another Kiss track. And it's Charisma. So for me, actually, Charisma is quite an important song to me, in that back in '79, I used to go to a local disco down the town hall, and the DJ had I Was Made for Loving You on 12-inch, but couldn't stand it, so he played the B-side, which was Charisma. So every Saturday night for about 6 months, it was played down the disco when I was 16. So I have very fond memories of dancing along with all my mates to Charisma.
That's awesome.
So I'd love to have seen it played live for that reason. I've noticed on YouTube there's quite a few clips of Gene Simmons with his own band playing it live.
Correct.
For whatever reason, I'm not sure why that is. But yeah, Kiss only played it live 4 times, as I say, once in 81, twice in 95, and once in 2012. And certainly never played it live in the UK. So I've never got to see him play it live. So that's my second one.
You know, I'd be cool with seeing Gene's band play it.
Yeah, it looks good.
Because his band's hot shit. I'm all for it. Sure, that'd be awesome.
It was also one of the songs that occasionally they would pull out at the meet and greets, sound check / playthroughs. like you said, you can never really be sure where the set list stuff comes from, but it probably was pretty sparse back in the day.
I suspect it's the official concerts, isn't it? So
Kind of.
But
and even things like the Kiss Cruise wouldn't be on there. So if they paid it on the Kiss Cruise, it wouldn't appear on the set list either. But officially, apparently 4 times it's been played.
awesome.
Gene's version is great.
Mm.
I'll take it. I actually wouldn't mind seeing Gene and his band.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I haven't looked at any tour dates or anything, but I'd go see him.
He hasn't
Yeah,
been
well, he's
as,
playing, isn't he? He's touring with it.
Mhm.
Yeah, he hasn't been as daring with the set list though as he was when he went out with the band the last time when he toured a little bit. Like this time, it's a lot of like what they played on the end of the road tour. There's really nothing from his solo record, which is weird. Only one from the Asshole record, and nothing like too oddball. Which you figure he'd given the chance, he'd be like would jump at playing Charisma or songs like that.
Well, and Gene being Gene, he had to make sure we were all aware that he is making more money per gig now than he did.
I know, right? I read that
Gotta
too.
love
Yeah,
Gotta love him.
that was
Did he really say that?
He said that because
Yeah.
he said essentially he said obviously all the other stuff, but him just basically he says he could just show up with his guitar pick and that's it, and he just has to go on stage. Everything else is provided.
We're just going to presume that the overhead is slightly.
Yeah.
just a
Yeah.
little-
I think
I'd
that
say
might have been
so.
for the. I think that was for the benefit of the tax man. I think
Yeah.
the amount of money they must have made on that end of the world
Yeah.
tour.
Well, I'm sure Gene's got a good accountant as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no doubt. All right, Parish, thanks so much. Awesome. Let's throw it over to the Elder of Rock. What's your
Thank you for
two?
remembering. I don't know how my name got up there, but yeah, I'm the Elder of Rock. But
You
I
know,
don't care.
I'm just a talk show host.
You can call me Steve. I don't care. It's all right.
I don't. Sure, I'm confused now. What to call you?
I
I
know,
like
it's all
the
right.
Elder
I'll
of Rock.
get it straightened out next time. I feel bad because I left Parish of Rock hanging. He's the only of Rock. But anyway,
Yes, he needs more support. All right, Steve. What he does? What's your two?
all right. Well, this first one is from Ozzy Osbourne, and there's many off this album that have never been played live. But I'm going to go with my favorite track off of Diary of a Madman. That's Sato, Sato. I actually saw Ozzy on this tour twice, once with Randy Rhoads. But when I saw the tour, the only song they initially, and I saw Blizzard of Oz tour, and the only song they initially really added to that set list was Over the Mountain. And so I was like, when I got there, I was like, cool, I'm going to see all these great songs live, And I thought, and they only played like Over the Mountain, and the rest, they had played previously on Blizzard of Oz, even Believer and Flying High Again, they did on the Blizzard of Oz. So, like I said, there's many songs off that album, but I'm going with Sato because that's probably like my favorite off that album, or Sato, or however you want to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But
a
yeah,
great
it's
song.
got great guitar riff by Randy Rhoads, got some killer lead, and Ozzy's vocals are just one of the best vocal performances, at least solo, I think, that he's done. So then my next one is going to be by Black Sabbath, and this is going to be off Heaven and Hell. It's called Wishing Well. Open side 2. I don't think they ever played it live.
Heaven
Maybe
and
if they
Hell
did, they only
did.
did what?
Heaven and Hell did.
But not
Heaven and Hell
Sabbath.
played it. Wishing Well.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's a
Oh.
great song, though.
But yeah, I love that song. And yeah, it's just a killer heavy track. And yeah, so that's my second one.
Excellent. Oh, hot. Shit. All right, I love it. All right. Let's send it over to Butch. Butch, nice to see you.
Good to see you. Good to see everyone here. Going back to Kiss we'll go to 1978 and turn the microphone over to Ace Frehley on this one. Why they never played this song live is beyond me. There was a period of time where, Ace was asserting himself more in the band. They were, he was singing more live, so you figure this song might have gotten in there. And I'm talking about, and actually, this is a better song than Shock Me, as far as I'm concerned. But I guess he approached the band with this song first. They like Shock Me better. Who knows? I don't know. I think it's a better song. He's played it a ton on his own, but Kiss never played it. And that's Rocket Ride off of Kiss Alive too. Oh, my blur is screwing
You're
everything
blurry,
up
but
here.
Butch, don't worry about it because I'll put all the graphics in. So
I'm glad you
okay.
censored the
Don't worry
cover
about
though. I was very offended by it. So
yeah, that cover offends me.
Yeah. So I mean, I've loved Rocket Ride since I first heard it.
Yeah.
It's catchy. I mean, I love Shock Me. Don't get me wrong. I like them both about equally, but Rocket Ride's always had a special place with me since I first heard it. Just super catchy song. His lead in it's great. It's a good vocal for him. Like the lyrics are dopey, but they're dopey in a fun way. Unlike like what he's doing now. So I don't know. I mean, I just think it's a great song,
I love
and
it.
I wish the band would have played it at some point when he was in the band. Like I'm like I said, I'm shocked. Like it when they got back and did the reunion tour too. You know, it's like they pull out 2000 Man instead. It's it's you're gonna play a cover, you're gonna play something the guy actually wrote. So I don't know, but I think it's a great song.
Well, I
Would've
love
been
you ever hear the way
live.
he introed? You ever hear the way he introed that song? There's a lot. I have a live version of that. He intros that song. Some people say this is about space travel, but it's really about going into a deep black
Yeah.
hole. Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
that's Ace for
it's
you.
always sounded great with Fraley's Comet when he played it live, But I don't know, never did it with Kiss. Would have been
So
cool.
I am gonna. So who's actually here? Peter Jones made. Who is playing? Is Peter Chris
Anton.
playing drum? Who's playing? Anton's on.
I believe it's Anton on the Ace one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he.
And I swear to
yeah.
God, Paul Stanley's
Yeah.
singing backgrounds because I can hear him on the
Yeah,
background.
he's stuff. Yeah, Paul's doing the backs on that. Yeah, you can tell.
But do you think it's Anton?
I
Oh
think
yeah, it was
find that all
one of the
those-
clear defining moments that we knew it wasn't Peter. The single stroke
Imagine that.
rolls at the end. You're like, that's not.
That's not Peter. Okay.
Out of interest, Butch, did they play any of those studio songs live?
They
Amer-
did a
All
couple
American
times.
Man,
they
didn't they?
played All American Man. They played on the I think it was that they did a tour in 2004 where they actually were pulling some oddball songs and rotating them into the set list, like Lover All I Can and Anessium Mount Spacing on Names, but there's a song from Hotter Than Hell, All the Way.
All the
They
way.
were
love
playing
that
that.
song.
I mean, Lover All I
Wow.
Can, Making Love, and I think All American Man got played around that time. If not, I'm sure they played it on. But that one, Rockin' in the USA, and Larger Than Life,
Larger
apparently
Than
have all
Life.
been
Right.
played. The only two they didn't play were Rocket Ride and what I think is a great cover of Any Way You Want It.
It's a good cover. Dave
I
Clark
think
They
should
should
be
have got.
proud.
They should have got Tommy to sing it.
Yeah.
You coulda. All right, Butch, what's your other one?
So I understand why this song hasn't been played live. I think it would be difficult to pull off and it would occupy a lot of time in the set list, but I'm going to go with the Empire of the Clouds from Iron Maiden's Book of Souls record. Totally epic song. Actually, I think it would be a great live set piece. I mean, the things they could do on stage with that, with the staging and actually it's only really, at the end of the day, it's only 5 or so minutes longer than Rime of the Ancient Mariner. So, but I get it. I mean, there's a lot of piano in it. How would they pull some of this stuff off? But tremendous song, my favorite song on the record. And when I first heard it, it immediately like leapt into my top 10, 15 Iron Maiden songs, period. I just think it'd be fun to hear it live. And you almost just picture with the things they do with the backdrops and the effects, having seen like what they've done with songs like Rime of the Ancient Mariner, like it'd be an amazing set piece live. And I do think it's like, although people are getting kind of, I've gotten sick of the songs being a little bit long-winded
Mhm.
on the record since Brave New World. I do think a lot of fans actually like this song. The other one I was actually going to pick by Iron Maiden is Judas My God, but I don't have the Fear the Dark record, so I kind of kept it to albums that I actually own right now. But that's another one, like most Maiden fans are like, would love to hear that song live. But Empire of the Clouds is my next pick.
All right. Excellent.
Cool.
Cool. All right, let's throw it over to Peter Jones. What's your next two?
All right. Well, let's go to 1985 and an album and tour that I really, really enjoy, Dio's Sacred Heart. And, there's a handful of songs on here that didn't get played. This one was really driven by the title track. Rock and Roll Children, of course, Hungry for Heaven from, was that Vision Quest? I think that was from Vision
Something like
Quest.
that, yeah.
Vision Quest.
And
Yeah.
then
I don't know.
King of Rock and Roll, that's a monstrous track. But the one I want to talk about is Just Another Day. It's an upbeat, high speed burner, you know, not unlike Stand Up and Shout or something like that. It's just driving and just, it's got these great punches. Vinny Appice's drumming on this is just pure propulsion. It's just forward and so heavy. And Ronnie is just soaring over the whole thing. And that would have been a track that would have really been great live, because all of the energy and everything that was in it. And so I wish they had done that one. And then I'm going to go to 1978. And this is one of the real head scratchers for me. Long Live Rock and Roll. The fact that they never played Lady of the Lake. I'm just like, are you nuts?
Great tune. Yeah.
There's Kill the King, Gates of Babylon, and then for me, Lady of the Lake. This is the perfect groove. Ronnie is amazing. Cozy's drumming and all of his syncopations and hi-hat work and everything is so great. It's just such a nice change of tempo. A little slower, but it's kind of grindy. I love the lyric content on there. It's just epic, big fantasy type rainbow. And I thought this is a perfect track, but of course we know that they like to stretch stuff out. So, you know, a full show is like 5 songs with a couple medleys, you know,
some medleys.
12 solos from Richie, a keyboard solo, a drum solo, you know.
Mistreated.
You know, Catch the Rainbow, Still I'm Sad is, you know, 17 minutes long. So not being able to pull out some of these, you know, more inner tracks is kind of a shame. And that track specifically, I would have just loved to hear them tear that one up.
Yeah, that's a great song. When Richie goes into that slide part, it's like when the record's warped or something. It's like there's so much. There's so much.
Also the Shed. I think that would have been a cool song.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, that it's just such a, you know, pounding song, you know, and then that guitar solo was amazing. So,
well, once they get to the chorus in Lady of the Lake, it's, you know, if you add the harmonies with Bob Daisley, oh my God, that would have just been, that would have been epic stuff. So Rainbow, you screwed up on that one.
Yeah, it is what it is. All right, cool. Thanks, Peter. All right, Rich, what you got? What's your next two?
Well, they just kind of mentioned one of mine, and that was I was going to go with Lady to the Lake also, because you know I think that's one of the most powerful songs off the album. I put it right behind Gates of Babylon. Just, you know, I think who was on before me? I'm sorry. Was that
Peter?
Yeah.
Peter. Yeah, he pretty much summed up, you know, why I think it would have been, just a fantastic song. One of those deep album cuts. And sometimes I feel like maybe Richie Blackmore forgets how to play these songs. Like he doesn't know how they, you know, you can't remember how they went. That's why they never get played live. But yeah, so I would definitely go with that. And I'm going to do another Rainbow song, and that's off of Rising, Tarot Woman.
Yes.
That song was my introduction to Rainbow, that and the album Rising. And I love that synthesizer solo by Tony Carey.
Yep.
And I heard that he just, that solo says he was just kind of goofy, you know, he was kind of warming up on his synthesizer, and they just happened to record it. And I think Blackmore said, if he does another solo, I want you to choose that first one that he did. So, but yeah, I love that solo that starts the song off. I think it has a really cool riff and you know, a great lyric from Dio on it. I think more. Yeah, that definitely would have been a really cool song to hear them play live. I mean,
Dio pulled it out. Dio played it on the Killing Dragon tour.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are my two Rainbow songs.
Okay,
Great
excellent. All right, cool. Let's throw it over to the Parish of Rock.
Okay, well, my next one is a song which I don't think ever appeared on one of their albums. It was on a soundtrack. It has been played live. It's actually, if again looking at Setlist FM, been played 18 times. But on the basis that this band plays all the time and their biggest songs have been played over 2,000 times, I think it's a fairly small percentage. And the song is Everything Works If You Let It by Cheap Trick. So it's probably my second favourite Cheap Trick song. I think, going back to a show we did recently, a really good power pop song. I got it as a single. I've not had it on any albums. I think it might be on a Greatest Hits, actually, because they did a lot of them, didn't they? They've done a lot of Greatest Hits, so I'll be surprised if it's not on one of them.
It's on the box set.
But generally, you know, as I say, it's been played 18 times. Just to, and I think it's a fantastic song. And just to add sort of insult to injury, Who the King of All Shook Up has been played more by Cheap Trick than Everything Works If You Let It, which I think is a bit of an insult to anybody, really.
Not if you're a drummer.
Not if you're a drummer. Maybe not if you're a drummer.
Yeah.
And I can't
Because
remember
Bunny
what
Carlos demanded that.
I can't remember what show I said, but Everything Works Out If You Let It is a rewrite of On Top of the World. It's back.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
taking the
probably.
chord progression and playing it backwards.
Hmm.
Yeah, well, they can
Wow.
do that. I'll let them do that.
They needed the
And
song.
the other
and
one,
that's what they did.
the other one's I'm going to do 2 for 1, really, because it's 2 songs off the same album. So the album is Pyromania, and I'm shocked, actually, if you think about how many bands now do albums in their entirety when they get to 20 years old or 30 years old. And I would have sworn that Def Leppard had done that with Pyromania, but apparently not. And there's 2 songs off that album that have only been played once each. And one is Coming Under Fire, and the other
Best
one is
song on the
Action,
record.
Not Words. Pardon?
Best song on the record.
Yeah, a fantastic song. And if Setlist FM is correct, the first time it was played live was this month.
Wow.
So if we'd done this a month ago, I would have actually have had one song that had never been played
close
live.
enough. Close enough.
Close enough. And then Action Not Words was played once on the 83 tour. So I'm assuming it's correct that they have never done an album in it, you know, in its entirety. I know they did Hysteria quite a lot, so maybe they didn't do it for
one. Yeah.
yeah, maybe they didn't do it in Parliament. But it's, as I say, it was such a big album, it kind of surprises me that they never have. So yeah, so 2 songs off that album. And bearing in mind how big the album was, and as you say, Butch, both cracking songs, I think, actually, good deep cuts.
For sure.
That I just a surprise, really, that they weren't played a little bit more. Even if it had only been on the Pyromania tour, you would have thought they would have been played. But there you go.
Awesome. Cool. I renamed you Elder.
Oh,
That's me done.
thanks.
It's going to drive me crazy. I don't want to see Steve up there. I want to see the Elder of Rock.
That's cool. Thank you for that.
So I've renamed you. So, all right. Thank you, Parish. All right, Elder.
All
You
right.
are up.
Okay, the next one's going to be by AC/DC off of For Those About to Rock. This is going to be Inject the Venom. One of my favorite, probably, I don't know if it's my favorite song, but it's definitely one of my favorite off that album. And it's just, I think maybe the reason they've never done it is because Brian Johnson is just screaming his head off on this song and hitting high notes that I don't think I've ever heard him hit, like, before or after that. He's just getting, just wailing his butt off. So that's one. And then the next one's by Van Halen off of Fair Warning, called Dirty Movies.
Love
Great song. I love the way the drums come in, just kind of, and then Eddie comes in with kind of these squeaky guitar things and just goes into a great vocal, great lyrical content. And so, yeah, so that's my
It's a classic.
Yeah.
Oh,
Love
I
it.
never really got into that album, but
Oh, that's my favorite. That's my favorite.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I go back and forth between that and like Women and Children First or something.
Yeah.
Because those are like two just great Van Halen, and they were at the just really like something about them that period were just
Yeah,
Mhm.
they were
just so like
on.
inventive and on and yeah, just
Oh,
yeah.
you know, I was actually referring to for those about to rock. That's the album I
Sorry.
never really got into. Yeah, I want to correct myself.
I never
There,
got into
but-
that one either.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was all right. I mean, I like it. I mean, I understand people like consider it to be like just a copy of Back in Black,
It's hard to follow Back in Black.
but it's hard. Yeah, when you have an album that big, it's
You
hard
get to
tell
that
no
peak.
matter what you do.
Man, I
Yeah.
love for those.
You only
About
can
to
come
Rock and-
down.
I love that record and Flick of the Switch. I think they're both worthy.
I like Flick of the Switch. I think, yeah, I love the cover for that too.
Martin
Yeah.
loves Slick of the Switch.
I think the thing with I loved For Those About to Rock when it came out. I thought it was fantastic. Now I think it's kind of half and half. I think half of it is right up there with anything else that they did around that time, and then the other half just feels a bit like filler. But I still play it quite a lot. I still think it's got some really good tracks on it.
Well, I gained a new appreciation for that album specifically when I was in the AC/DC band. When you go to play them live, you know, just how incredible some of those tracks were in that era. Well constructed, everything's right in its place, and it's
Yeah.
a real
It's
challenge.
yeah, I was an
to play-
AC/DC tribute too, and it's like the songs on the surface seem simple, but when you get into them,
Oh yeah, they're
lock
exceptionally.
in and just get into the groove of them, it's you got to really know what you're doing.
Well, it's because you get so exposed because the band is so focused unison wise that one lapse of, flight of mind, you're like, well, let me just throw this in. I mean, you're naked in Times Square. I mean, you look like an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
So very hard to do correctly.
All right, cool. All right, thanks, Alder. Let's throw it over to Butch. Butch, what's your next two?
All right, actually, Rich took one of mine. I was gonna say Tarot Woman. And I think the problem with Rainbow and Deep Purple with those. I mean, if you look at the set list from those times, there's very little daring in what songs they picked. It was always the same, and it's got to be a Blackmore thing because without Richie, Deep Purple has gone deeper into their catalog over the years without him, and I don't know what his deal was. I mean, maybe like we were saying, he just liked to jam or whatever, but he left so many great songs on the table from that period of time that it's unbelievable to me. But anyway, I'll do something. I'll do another one instead. This kind of follows up on the episode we just taped the other night. We're talking about the Anno Domini box set by Sabbath, and so I'm going to go with Nightwing from the Headless Cross record, and for a song that monstrous with that much atmosphere and that the riffing in parts of that song is just like so quintessentially like Sabbath that for them to never have played it even once blows my mind. I guess for me, because I always liked it the best on the record. Like I love When Death Calls and I love Headless Cross and some of these other songs that they did play, but I don't know why they never played that one. It's killer. Tony Martin's vocal on it is godly.
Yeah, they're huge.
I think it would have been a great song live. I guess the problem you run into when you've been around for a while and when you're Sabbath, you got to play. You're going to get strung up if you don't play Paranoid, if you don't play Iron Man. So if you don't play, and now you got Tony Martin, so you don't even have the excuse like you have to play, like you can play stuff from the Dio era, and so they're gonna have to play Heaven and Hell and things like that. So I get it, but it'd be nice like if you would have rotated that song into the set at some point. So Nightwing is my first one, and then the next one I'm gonna go with from I don't know why I'm even bothering because it's going to be blurry anyway. But
yeah, I'm going to show it anyway, Butch. No worries.
From 1977, from On Earth as It Is in Heaven, from what isn't my favorite Angel record, but there's a thin margin between all the records for me. But this was a transitional record for them, and even on this tour, they played a good bit from this record. But the one song that I love, and it's one of my top 3 favorite Angel songs, is a song called Just a Dream. It's the song that closes out the record. It's really kind of like moody and atmospheric, as opposed to like, riffy and upbeat and stuff. Maybe leans more towards progressive rock, or like it's got some more Pink Floyd kind of vibes to it than some of the other stuff they were doing. So I guess I could kind of see maybe why it didn't make the set list, but at the same time, like, I'm just surprised it didn't get played even once, like, because they did headline a good bit, like when they would play like smaller, theaters, and then they headlined over in Japan on this tour. I mean, they did a week of dates over there, and they were huge at the time and played a good bit from the record. But for whatever reason, Just a Dream wasn't one of them. And one of Greg Giuffria's like finest recorded pieces of work on this song. It's just unbelievable. Tremendous song. So
Yeah.
Angel on Earth as It Is in Heaven. Turn it upside down.
The perfect, the best logo ever.
Definitely. That and the Stars logo, man.
Those two are top notch.
I really, that's my favorite Angel album too. That's the one that I go back to the most. I love that song, Can You Feel It? I think that's a great opener. But yeah, I love
Great
that
song.
album.
Oh, I love that first album. The Tower.
They played Can You Feel It pretty much every show since that record on Earth came out. I mean, it's a pounder.
Yeah.
All right, Butch, was that your first one?
That's two.
That's two.
I said
Sorry.
Nightwing and Just a Dream, yeah.
All right. I get all worked up when you bring up Angel.
They get me hot and bothered too, man.
But I know they put out an album recently. I've got the one before, but I didn't pick up the newest one. Anybody here have that?
Yeah,
it's really good.
If you like Risen, you're gonna like the new one.
I like Risen. I thought that was great.
There's a song on the new one that I swear to God is as good as most of the stuff they did in the 70s. There's a song called The Torch that I would put in the same category as Tower and The Fortune, like that kind of vibe. You have to hear it.
I'm sold.
Yeah.
I'll pick it up.
Yeah, good album.
I kind of forgot about it. Oh, well, it's hard to, I'm busy. All right, cool. All right. Thanks, Butch. Awesome. All right, Pete, what is your number one?
Okay. When I saw the category, the song that I'm going to pick here instantly jumped to the top of the list. And it's always stayed at the top of list of songs that should have been live that weren't, and the tragedy that ensued. And 1982, Iron Maiden, and my favorite opening track of their entire catalog. Yes, I said it. Invaders.
I almost chose that one too.
This is absolute prime classic Maiden. It is just crushing. Clive Burr is perfection. Steve Harris is going nuts. The riffs are crazy. The lyrics are perfect. Longboats have been sighted and the evidence of war has begun. Come on, many Nordic fighting men, their swords and shields gleam in the sun. Perfect.
Awesome.
Perfect. Now.
Yeah, that was a great opening track. Yeah.
I believe that maybe not unlike Not for the Innocent, it is such at the peak of Bruce's range.
Yeah.
That if he was tasked to have to do this on even semi-regular basis, and maybe to open, because if you're going to open the Number of the Beast tour with the first track, which is something they did a lot on their albums, that you might find a couple shows into it going, scrub that son of a bitch. I can't sing it.
And also Maiden has a tendency to play their stuff faster in concert too.
Yeah.
So
Clive
it could have
was
been
not
really
as
rough.
bad as Nico was. So Clive was a little better at holding things together, but I have to think that had some aspect of it, because other than that, it is so essentially Maiden that for them to leave it off is just befuddling. And it's just the biggest conundrum in the Maiden world. So if I was to
Yeah.
ever get with them and ask them, why did you not play Invaders live? Shame.
And I'll never forget getting that album, because here's the new singer, Maiden is a new singer, and just that first track was like, okay, I'm convinced. You know, he's gonna work.
Yeah. Right off the bat, you're like, okay, whew, we're good.
Yeah.
And my favorite lineup of the band, and they were just untouchable.
Yeah, Clyde Burr was awesome.
Cool.
So, that's
All
my top.
right. Thanks, Peter. Appreciate it. Rich, just throw it over to you. What is your number one?
Well, I'm gonna go with Rush, and I'm gonna go with The Fountain of Lamneth. I guess that, I don't know if that would qualify as one song, because it's like six, I think like 5 or 6 songs, you know, separate songs. But I think The Fountain of Lamneth is a great song. I would have loved to have heard like In the Valley live, or No One at the Bridge, and Didax and Narpets. That would have been insane to hear that live, you know. And Bacchus Plateau, and even Panacea.
Panacea.
Yeah, I noticed that Rush don't really play any of their ballads live. I don't think they've ever played Tears or Rivendell. I know that they haven't played Madrigal, but
Right.
but I think that's, to me, that's kind of like the forgotten Rush album side, along with side 1 of Hemispheres. But it would have been cool for them to at least play 1 or 2 songs from that, you know, from The Fountain of Lamneth, you know, like In the Valley and Bacchus Plateau. Like I said, and No One at the Bridge. Alex Lifeson thought he sounded like Steve Hackett on that. He was really proud of that solo. But yeah. And
I believe Dream Theater covered that in one of their,
Yeah.
at some show or a
Yeah.
couple shows, I think.
That'd be
Well,
wild.
And I think officially, and of course, you know, we're using you know, some liberties here, which is great. It was played a small handful of times as part of a connection in either Bytor or something else. And it was an element of Fountain. I've got it on a couple bootlegs.
I've heard that too, yeah.
But it was really, you know, you count on one hand and maybe don't count the thumb kind of thing, you know, and that, but it was never done in its entirety. I don't even think a full, you know, part or episode, as you say, was ever done from start to finish, even any of those individual parts. I don't think so. I mean, that would have been cool. Hard to do when you're still an opener with 30 minutes.
True.
That'll take up their whole set.
Yeah, I mean, they still played a good chunk of 2112 the next tour, but
Yeah.
They played the Necromancer too a few times on that tour, so they must have headlined a little bit.
yeah, you know, and maybe if I check, I think maybe part of the Necromancer may be what I'm referring to, but either one is so sparse that both would easily qualify for what we're saying here.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Cool. All right. The Parish of Rock. What's your number one?
Well, my number one is from this album, Tres Hombres by ZZ Top. And it's sorry. My brain's gone. It's Master of Sparks. So Master of Sparks has only been played 4 times. Twice in 75, once in 76, and once in 1980. So you think how many classics on that album, which they must have played hundreds, if not thousands of times. Wait for the Bus, Jesus Just Left Chicago, Beer Drinkers and Hellraisers, and obviously The Grange. And maybe it just got lost, but I always think of Master of Sparks as just one of their classics. And it really surprised me when I went and had a look that it only been played 4 times. So, and you were talking earlier about being in an AC/DC tribute band. Well, I've never been in a tribute band, but I used to play the drums, and back in the early 80s, and we played quite a lot of ZZ Top when we played, and Master of Sparks was one of the ones we played. So so they may not have liked playing it very much, but I did. So
All right, cool. All right, thanks, Parish. All right, send it over to the elder. What's your number one?
All right, this one's going to be off of by Judas Priest. It's going to be off Jugulator, the last song on the album, Cathedral Spires.
Mm-hmm.
And even by people who don't like that album because of its it took a different direction, they'll always say that that song sounds the most like classic Priest. That could have been a Halford song, and I doubt if Priest will pull it out while Halford's in the band. You know, it's a long song too. It's kind of long, but yeah, but that's a great song, and I just wish I could have played it live. I saw the Jugulator tour, and they didn't do that, but it would have been cool to hear him do that because that was one of my favorite songs off the album. It was a great album closer.
Awesome, cool.
And
All
most
right.
of the fan base loves that song, so I can't believe they never played it. It is a great song. Like,
Yeah,
I can't believe they never played it when Ripper was still in the band. Like, a lot of the base loves it.
yeah, they do. That's the one song you always hear about that people just like across the board. Even if they didn't like the Ripper stuff in general, they'll always point to that song. That they do like that.
All right, excellent. All right, Butch, you're up.
All right, here's my last one. It's funny thinking about this. The tying thing between all my picks is that I never would have gotten a chance to see most of these bands play this stuff anyway, because it was in the 70s when I wasn't ready to go to concerts yet. And this one is no exception. By the time I got to go to concerts, these guys were broken up. And then unfortunately, a few years later, the main man died, and I'm talking about Thin Lizzy. The song that I'm talking about is one that I love. I think it's one of their best songs. It's different for them. If you only know them for the hard rockers, for the Boys Are Back in Town, for Jailbreak, for the Cowboy song, like, you might not know this song. It's a deeper cut from the Jailbreak album. That song is called Running Back. It's got a real, like, Van Morrison kind of feel to it. It's one of those songs like Dancing in the Moonlight. Like, it's more like it's just a good, like, kind of like, not exactly a pop song, but it's not like a hard rocker. I mean, it's real, it's kind of soulful, and it's just a really great song. I mean, I've always liked it. I mean, I guess it would have, it's got that simplistic kind of keyboard part running through it. I don't know if maybe live it would be. I know at one point it was on the schedule to be a single, but then they went with Boys instead. I don't know how that song would have done if it had come out. Obviously, history shows that, they picked the right song to put out. But I always thought Running Back is a great song. It's a nice little, like, kind of like semi-mellow kind of thing. Phil, like, I love Phil's voice on it. The lyrics are really good. I mean, Phil wrote lyrics like few other people, and I just think it's a killer song. And it would have been cool, like, if they played it live, because with some of this stuff coming out of the archives, I'm sure a live recording of it would have shown up at some point. So yeah, Running Back from this bad boy. Oh well, you put
That's
the graphic up.
No,
It's a
I'll put
beautiful-
the graphic up.
Put up the nice version of this record. It's got the real shiny silver. Look at that silver.
Anything
cover.
for you, Butch. I'll take care of it.
He's got an awesome set of tools. He can do that.
I think I can handle it. All right. Anybody have any honorable mentions or anything?
I just have two real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would have loved to have heard Home Tonight by Aerosmith from Rocks.
Oh yeah.
I think that's a great track, and it could have easily fit into their set. They had no problem bringing Dream On into it. So as far as I was concerned, that's right up their alley, and I thought that would really sounded great. And then the last one is maybe be careful what you wish for, because I love this track so much the way it is. I would be maybe sad to maybe not hear it exactly, but that would be Available Light by Rush.
What a song.
And wow, even to just maybe hear it once with all that space and the Neil's drums with just the sparse instrumentation, and have it in a period. Geddy's voice was still plenty clean and high enough that he could have easily done this. Maybe not repetitively, but man, even just if you could have one-off this thing somewhere, just to have, what a great song.
That's such an emotional song. I think if I heard them play that live, it would bring me to tears. Like, that song is so good.
Well, then it would serve its purpose, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Those two.
So
Awesome.
I was going to mention, I know that these guys played this song on the tour for the album, but I'm talking Down and Out by Genesis. I think that was played on the And Then There Were Three tour, and then I don't think they ever played it again. And I guess I heard it was because the time signature was so tricky for it. But that was like my introduction to Genesis, and I just love that song. I love Tony Banks' keyboard intro and Phil singing and the riff and the drumming on it, and his solo. I think it's probably one of Tony Banks' best keyboard solos, and it's kind of rare for them. It's like an angry song, and Genesis didn't really do angry songs that much back then, and I think that's an incredible tune, and it's a shame they didn't play it past the And Then There Were Three tour. So I don't know what you guys think of it, but
I have no issues with it. I think it's fine. Surprised they didn't really play it. No.
yeah.
All right. Anybody else?
I'll
I've
just,
got a couple.
Okay, go ahead. We're good. We got a couple minutes.
First one is a bit like Butch's Rocket Ride. So off this album,
There you go.
there you go, and it's Nowhere to Run.
yes.
So
Right.
when this came out, I don't know, did it come out in the States? I don't know if it did. It
As an
came out.
It's an important.
yeah.
Yeah. So this came out just before Creatures of the Night, and the new tracks on here were really the songs that kind of told us that maybe Kiss were back to their sort of heavy rock roots, really. And I just think that song. Well, I think all four of them are really good, but I think Nowhere to Run is the best of the four. But they've only ever played it twice, once in '95 and once in 2013. So yeah, not played very often.
a weird album because it had old and new stuff, and it has the elder picture
yeah.
on it. You know,
Well,
in the elder costumes, and it's weird.
I think it was done because all of a sudden, because of the new wave of British heavy metal, Kiss suddenly got a bit of a following over in Europe, particularly in the UK, which they never had before. So they kind of pulled it together. And I guess they were offcuts that didn't quite make it for Creatures. I don't know, that they threw on there as well. So yeah, interesting album. The next one is off my favourite Foreigner album. And it's Rev on a Red Line.
I
Oh,
love that track.
I love that. That's my favorite on there.
And that's only been played 8 times and only on that tour, I think, on the Head Games tour. So another fantastic track that for some reason, maybe it just doesn't fit with what the fans think should be a Foreigner song. I don't know, but yeah, great song.
Great.
And then my last one is, I mean, this band have played it 25 times, so you might think that's quite a lot. But when I say it was a #1 single in the UK and it was #1 for 5 weeks, and all of their other #1 songs they've played nearly 1,000 times during their career, it does make you wonder. And it's Squeeze Me, Please Me by Slade, which is actually, again, one of my favourite Slade songs. I can't believe they only played it 25 times because it was such a massive hit, but they did. So in the scheme of things, they didn't really play it live very often. So I decided it didn't quite meet the cut, but I'd have it as an honourable mention.
Media was playing it for him.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But all their other number, because they had 6 #1s over here, all their other #1s, they were just constantly in the set. It just seemed to be the only one that for some reason got pushed out.
That's
Wow.
odd.
Yeah. Oh, guess they didn't like to play it. Maybe it didn't get a good
Maybe.
reception. Who knows? I don't know.
It is pretty fast actually. So maybe it is. Maybe they didn't like playing it.
Yeah.
Too hard for them.
All
That's
right.
the one about some of these, if it's like you realize it's too hard to pull off live. But the other one I was going to say is by Black Sabbath, The Writ. I don't think that was
Oh,
ever played live.
Killer
Um,
song.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because it would have been too difficult because Ozzy's kind of singing real high on that, and so it might have been hard for them to do. I also say that with the Cathedral Spires, maybe KK's Priest will play it one day, but who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never know. All
What
right.
about Blow on a Jug? Wouldn't it have been great if they did that song live?
Blow on a jug. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to, when playing side 2 of Sabotage, I would turn the volume way up for Blow on a Jug.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's such a funny song.
Yeah, that was so weird when you first hear that. You're like, what's
The hell is happening here?
Struggle to hear what's going on there for the first few
Yeah.
times. And I thought he was saying blow on a joint for a long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
It's
Maybe
Jug.
he was.
It's Jug, but I thought he was,
His jug.
knowing Sabbath and what they were up to, I was like, blow on a joint. Okay, blow on a
Yeah,
joint.
it
Yeah.
would
blow on
make
a joint.
sense. All right, boys, I got to wrap this dog up. I want to
on.
thank the panel tonight. Peter, Richard, the Parish, the Elder, and Butch. Great discussion. If you'd like to be on these panels, we'd love to have you. If you also would like to support this channel, we have a Patreon you can join. The link's down below. We have merch down below too. Buy yourself a shirt. Why not? We like that. And we also have a Ko-fi. Buy us a pint or a cup of coffee. Would like that too. We also like donations just because. But the whole reason we do this is because we want to turn you on to music. Hopefully there might be something you want to check out from this show. Maybe there's something you want to add. We want to hear from you in the chat. Give us please respond. Please give us a like. Please subscribe. All right, boys. Good discussion. We will see everybody on the next one. What's next on the Contrarians?
I don't know.
Depends upon what I edit next. That's it.
That's it.
Probably that Black Sabbath show. That's up next, to be quite honest.
Oh, no, I thought that was yesterday.
I don't know. I'll figure out something. I'll make it a surprise.
Okay.
All right,
right.
gentlemen, we'll see you. Hey, if I don't
All right.
see you, have a good weekend.
Yep. You too.
See you guys.
All right.
Pleasure.
See you, everybody.
As always.